The genesis of the Hours album is interesting because we started writing for the album. David had moved to Bermuda, and I would go to Bermuda. I remember the first time I went, he was like, yeah, come to Bermuda and we'll start writing songs. I said, do you have guitars and something to record on? He says, yeah, I got a couple acoustic guitars and I got, I've got something to record on. So I was like, great, I'll just fly over. So I flew over and I got there and he had two acoustic guitars that were missing strings. They were rusty because they had been in Bermuda in high humidity for a long time. And he didn't have anything that was working to record on. I had a little dictaphone recorder and I brought strings with me. So I put fresh strings on the guitars and we sat around and did things in altered tunings. We did that throughout the summer of '98. And then I found myself in England for some reason. And David calls and he goes, I have this meeting with this company that's doing a video game called Omicron, and I think you should come with me. So I got there and him and Aman were there and they were talking to him about it. And kind of as a surprise, David said, well, Reeves and I can write music for this, because they were talking to David and Aman about being characters. And so then that entered the picture. So at that point, we had our initial desire to make a new record, and David wanted it to be more singer-songwriterly and less electronic and less drum and bass meets industrial Bowie, And so we were leaning that way, and then the whole Omicron game comes up. As the storyline evolved, the lyric writing was sort of ambiguous enough, and we will adapt the lyrics when we hear them to the scenario that they're in. Humans will, I think. So we just kept writing songs. I think when we ultimately were finished with the songy songs for it, for the Omicron version, we changed 2 lines in 2 different songs to make them fit. And they were also different mixes. On the original version of Hours, which we started in England, Jason Cooper was the drummer. I was the bass player and guitar player and sometimes keyboard player and programmer. David was playing guitar and keyboards, and that was the band on the original version. And we took it back to New York to mix it, and we did a version of it and then lived with it for a little bit. And I liked it because it was dark in the same way that like Diamond Dogs was dark. David, over time, changed his mind and wanted it to be a little more friendly and have all fretless bass on it and less aggressive drumming. So we ended up we went into Looking Glass and Chung King studios in New York. And I thought, okay, we need a bass player and we need a good engineer mixer. Mark Plotty. So I asked Mark and I brought him into the studio and I played the stuff for him, and we just started building it from there. And then I continued also, while this was going on, I was doing the incidental music for Omicron as well. So they were all like 18-hour days for a while.
Hold my face before you.